right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's please call the Water and Light Commission meeting for June 19th, 2024 to order. Please call roll.
Commissioner Grindy?
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp?
Yes.
Commissioner Quirk?
Yes.
Commissioner Riopel?
Yes.
All right, approved minutes from previous meeting, June 5th, 2024.
I'll move.
Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Beauchamp?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Bills and payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Beauchamp?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Comments from the public? Nothing. All right, Brady Martz, 2023 Water and Light Annual Comprehensive Annual Report. Hi,
Good
Brady.
morning.
Good morning.
This morning we have Brian Opsahl from Brady Martz here. He will be kind of going over some key factors, any findings, and answer any questions that you guys have.
Okay.
Morning, Brian.
Morning, everyone. I guess the intent this morning is to just do a very brief overview of the audit process, go through the report a little bit, and if there's any questions as I go through, feel free to stop me and ask them. Otherwise, at the end of the presentation, I'll open up for questions as well. Couple things of note right now is that as far as new accounting standards for 2023, there was one new one. It did not have any significant impact. It's really related to some IT-related multi-year agreements, so nothing material. Most of your agreements were either immaterial or one-year annual subscription type things. So nothing new there. There is one new accounting standard for 2024 related to compensated absences, just a different way to calculate the liability. Nothing really changes. It's just focusing not just on what's going to get paid out upon retirement, like a termination benefit, but also like what you've got accrued that you might be using in terms of actual vacation or PTO balances going forward. So that's the only thing really new that might impact the financials. Like I said, nothing really changes as far as what you owe. It's just a different calculation. The audit process, just like years past, it's a risk-based approach. So what that just means is that we go through your financials and we perform more procedures on areas of risk. At the Water and Light, we look at revenues quite extensively to ensure that they appear accurate, because that's where we see the most risk. And so, like I said, we do more procedures there, less procedures over things like, maybe prepaids, capital assets like that. So that can change depending on what we find during the audit, but that's kind of the start of the process. No disagreements with management, no difficulties performing the audit. We have get very good response time and appreciate everyone's help during the process. So getting into the actual audit report book, the first few pages of the audit report, I guess if you look, it's V through V or XIII is the financial highlights and letter of transmittal. And basically this is just pointing out some just overall comparative data. It's very condensed, but it provides some highlights. It's got 5 years worth of information, so you can kind of see where you've been to where you are now. And that is, those sections are meant to be informative. If you're looking for maybe a snapshot of the year, those would be the sections to take a look at. If you scroll to page 2, Page 2 is the independent auditor's report. We've issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which is considered a good or clean opinion. It is management's responsibility for the financial statements, as well as all the footnotes within these, and then we come along and ensure that they are accurately stated or reasonably stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that is what our opinion is stating, is that we believe that they are. So then moving on to page 5. Page 5 is management's discussion and analysis. And this is a section required by the Government Accounting Standards Board. Once again, very much highlights of the year. It's condensed, but it does require a few information or a piece of information as far as how the year went, rolls through some capital asset activity, etc. The first audited financial statement, though, can be found on pages 10 and 11. This is the combined statement of net position, so it's going to combine both of the electric and water funds together. And as we go through the report, what you'll see is that as we get towards the back end, then it starts breaking things out more and more. But for these 2 pages, you're going to see this is on a combined level. The bottom of page 11, this is the overall net position within the entity. So you can see $46,107,383 would be your net position, equity retained earnings of the entity. The line right above that, the unrestricted portion, $18,961,775, that is the unrestricted portion, which would be basically the portion that's not tied into your capital assets. So those would be the dollars per se that you have available to spend that aren't necessarily restricted for any purpose at this point in time. We'll get to more details on the next page, but that unrestricted portion, once again, is kind of the number we look at for the health of the entity. That number increased $633,295 for the year, so a positive change for the unrestricted portion. You did have quite a bit of capital asset activity, so when we go to the next page, you're going to see a bigger number overall, but some of that's just due to the timing of maybe receiving grants for capital projects, and then capital projects not yet done that haven't been depreciated yet. So wanted to point that out. If you flip the page to page 12, 3 lines to the bottom, you're going to see the overall change in net position is $1,823,269. And of that number, the $633,295 is related to the unrestricted portion. So the rest of that difference is related to capital asset activity. And like I said, there's lots of information as far as activity throughout the rest of the financial statements. But this is obviously a positive number for the year. Pages 13 and 14 represent the combined statement of cash flows. So on page 13, 3 lines to the bottom, you can see the overall change in cash flows was a net decrease of $1,641,992. Majority of that is due to capital asset acquisition. So you had quite a bit of capital asset activity, about $2.9 million spent for improvements of the capital assets. You also had some purchases of investments, so basically moving from cash flows to investments also was about $500,000 of that decrease, so just keep that in mind. That's just moving from cash to investments. Pages 15 through 28 then are the footnotes to the financial statements. Lots of additional information of your accounting policies, capital asset activity if you had any debt, information on the net pension liability, etc. Don't plan to go through any detail on that for right now, but let's go to page 36. So once you get past the footnotes to the financial statements, you get into the section where we're starting to combine or break out the different activities. And so page 36 is the first page where you're going to see a column for water and a column for electric. And so I'm not going to go through any major details, but if you look on page 38, for example, you can see that 3 lines to the bottom, the water fund was up $195,922, and the electric fund was up $1,627,347. This is also after depreciation expense, so just keep that in mind too, that depreciation would be a non-cash item of about $1.7 million. So this starts breaking it out, and as we go through this, we have lots of additional information broken out by each of these funds. Page 41. Page 41 is where you're going to see the start of the breakouts for all the water funds, primarily broken down into the last 5 years to give you an idea. And then page 57, this is where we break out or start breaking out the electric fund. And so I just want to kind of point those 2 pages out if you're looking for just a snapshot of one of these. And they're obviously broken out in the table of contents as well, but just an idea of what these sections are doing. Page 76, this is a listing of all of the different unrestricted securities and deposits that you have, just to kind of give you an idea of what the par value versus the market value is of the investments that you have purchased. So that's where you're going to find that. And then lastly, pages 77 and 78 is the compliance section of the report. So the government auditing standards report is a high-level overview of your internal control structure. And so through this report, we also have a Minnesota legal compliance paragraph related to some required steps or testing that the state of Minnesota provides us. And this is a clean report. So we didn't have any issues with the control processes, procedures, Minnesota legal compliance, et cetera. So we do believe that you have internal controls operating as intended and effectively. So, like I said, that's a very quick run through of 78 pages of an audit report. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, and keep in mind, if you don't think of them today, I'm always available.
Looks very good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian?
You'll be
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You'll be as fast tonight, right?
What's that?
You'll be as fast tonight, right?
We'll try.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right. Reports. Mr. Todd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Todd.
A few items, update you on our 2023 miscellaneous projects. They had been out and hydroseeded, some of the disturbed areas, but this 4 or 5 sites I checked on, there was no grass growing yet. So I'm thinking they're probably going to have to go back out and redo it, the way it's looking. So
Over on the curb line towards the house to the sidewalk at 404 4th Street Southeast, it's nothing but weeds. I think they're cutting them, but yeah, there's no grass there that I can see.
okay, well that's something we'll have to
Right
check
across from the pumping station there.
on. Yep.
You're talking the waterfront.
Pardon?
The waterfront?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I guess, as long as we know that, that's something we can deal with the contractor on,
Okay.
get it taken care of. But I know on electrical sites, there wasn't even weeds growing in some of the spots they dug up, so I'm not sure what they had in the hydroseeding mix, but
Right.
apparently wasn't much for grass seed, so. Our 2024 miscellaneous, Northolt was making some good progress on the industrial park circuits 4 and 5. I'm sure it's pretty much a mud hole out there now, so they're probably going to be down for a little while until some of that dries up. But they were working on putting in the conduits for the road crossings and the driveway crossings, getting that prepped and ready to start pulling in some cable. They have pretty much used up all the conduit we had in stock. We still have not got the conduit in that we ordered earlier this spring, so they're going to be on a sort of a hold on that. Supposedly the conduit's on its way, but they've been telling us that since June 1st, so hopefully it gets here pretty soon. Other than that, if they have to stop on that, they may move over to that fiber project out on the point, so we'll see how that goes. Other than miscellaneous, we are trying to set up a meeting with Crystal Sugar for this Thursday to discuss their proposed updates to the beat freeze metering out on Business Highway 2. Looking at upgrading the existing station that's there and possibly adding a new one further east along that road. So we've put some estimates together, looking at deliveries. One of the switches that we were looking at possibly using was out 59 weeks. So it's out there quite a ways. We've been looking at some alternatives that are a little short of time, but of course they're more money. So we're going to have to see what they want to do. But so we're trying to get that meeting set up so if they do want to go ahead with it, we can get the material on order and get some of that moving, because it's going to take a little bit of effort to get all that stuff put together. Other than that, I don't really have any updates on the Business Highway 2 lighting project. As far as I know, MnDOT's still looking at the plans and specs on that, so don't have any updates on that. Still trying to get some stuff lined up for Industrial Park Sub, some work there, and just started looking at maybe at some of the prep for the 2025 budget process, which will be here before we know it. So that is what I have, unless there's questions.
Any questions for?
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No report.
No report from Steve. Mr. Gallstead.
Good morning. I'm still playing some catch up from being gone. There's really nothing to report at this point in time for Water and Light. Unless you have any questions for me or I'm missing something.
Oh, sir, thank you. Old business, nothing. Department heads, Todd.
Morning.
Morning, Todd.
Morning, Todd.
Got a few things here. We have the American Crystal does a shutdown every year to do a maintenance program. They do all their breaker testing, so we have a couple, probably have 3 guys go in Friday morning and then shut them off, and then we usually turn them back on Friday night sometimes. So that's a yearly event that they do and do all their testing. And then I did mention Hawks was energized there, that transformer that we put in last year. They finally energized that on the 5th of June. So hopefully we can get that. That one will be up and running. And the industrial park project 4 and 5, we did get the switch installed. I think I'd mentioned that, but we did do a switch over for Zaverill West shop yesterday, or last Friday. And we just have to do the east shop, but as we get those, when Holtz start pulling the wire in along there, we'll be energizing it from the opposite end, so that's moving along pretty good. I did talk to the vendor about the pipe, and hopefully we'll have it this week is what he's telling me, but he told me that last week too, so we'll see. The water crews have been out identifying or locating curb stops on the northeast and the northwest part of town. They've got them GPSed and just verifying that they are there, so when we have some shut-offs, they can get to them. We did set a couple of temporaries for some new homes, so got a couple lined up there. And as Todd mentioned, we do have the meeting tentatively set up for Thursday with American Crystal, and like he did say, the lead times are a long time out there. And then I did get an inquiry for to supply some power to the east gate at the campground for when they come out of there with that gate arm. They have had a solar arm there for the last 19 or 20 years, and that's not functionable anymore, so we're looking at some options to give them a feed. I did get a contact name, and he did reply to me yesterday, so I got to take a look at it this morning. So, and then still waiting to hear back from Encota when we'll be able to put those low tap changers in out at Industrial Park and one over at Sugar Hill. So other than that, that's about all I have. Unless you got some questions.
Any questions for Todd? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian.
Good morning.
Morning, Brian.
Yeah, so last week we had our annual maintenance service performed on the forklift. They did find a leaking tilt cylinder on that, so they repaired that then as well at that time. I attended a LAWA Technical Advisory Committee meeting by Zoom. I think that was 2 weeks ago. And Integrated Process Solutions was in to perform their quarterly calibrations. We're still working with them to make some SCADA programming changes, mostly related to the soda ash project, just to get that integrated. And then last week, Ray gave a tour to a group from the International Water Institute. And they're comprised of high school students studying water quality and watershed research. They were led by Azure Kingerly, who's a project specialist. So that was kind of interesting. They'd reached out to us and was wondering if they could do something like that. So,
And where are they located? Regionally or locally, or?
he's from Crookston, and so I think they're from all over the area. I don't think it's, you know, specific to one high school.
Okay,
But
thank you.
yeah, so it's I think it's kind of a summertime group because they go out and they collect water samples from different streams and watersheds and that sort of thing. So anyway, then lastly, Edward Evans was in last week also, and he performed the carbon dioxide silo and system inspection. In the process, he takes the time to educate new operators to the inner workings of our CO2 system, and following his inspection, he provides us with a complete inspection report so that we have that for our records. And other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions for Brad?
No.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
Brianna?
Good morning. I don't have a lot this morning. I've been out for a little over a week, but yeah, working with Brady Martz again was really good. I like working with their team. Kind of makes it smooth, and they help explain any kind of new standards that are coming up or why they're asking, you know, certain new questions, things like that. Been busy, still working on budget stuff. That kind of is always a work in progress, and I know we'll be meeting after the 4th, I think, with everybody to kind of get everything in line and see if we need to make any changes from there. And then Jordan might touch on this too, but him and I met with a gentleman from Excel Energy about, he's kind of our account manager, and he will kind of is going to help connect us to some different people to help and how we can help promote some of their rebates, but also then how maybe the city can get some rebates on different projects that we're doing as well. So I thought that was a really good meeting, and look forward to having, yeah, more connections with that contact. So I think that's all, unless you have questions for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Carla?
Good morning. I just wanted to thank Bree and her staff, and actually all the Water and Light staff, because not just for the audit, but they're actually really good all year long with due diligence and getting anything straight, so it makes it really easy for us at year end. So I just want to thank you all for your help during the regular year even, because it makes, like I said, it makes it easy at year end. So thank you.
Thank you. Good to hear.
Jordan?
Morning.
Morning, bud.
Just a few updates since I wasn't present at the last meeting back at the end of May. It would have been on the 28th. I actually went out to American Crystal with Matt Haley from Frontier. So we met with their engineering and their operations managers, and we had a site visit and kind of discussed some of the projects they're working on. So I think going forward, we're going to be touching base monthly just to see how we can help out with those and what rebates those would qualify for. And that would be on top of doing just the lighting and the VFDs quarterly, because I still receive those on a quarterly basis. On June 5th, I started the online portion of MMUA's Stepping Into Leadership program. It's going very good, so the next session will be next Wednesday. And like Brianna said, we met with our Excel Energy account representative would have been on the 7th of June. So we kind of discussed, how we can integrate, maybe helping out by promoting some of their rebates to have more of an incentive for people to upgrade to like air source heat pumps, that sort of thing. And of course, on the commercial side, what's possible, because that's something we haven't really done a whole lot of. So some opportunities that may qualify for some city projects too. Looking forward, next Friday, we're going to have the EUI report submitted, so I'm going to do that with Keith. Working on a lot of weatherization, a lot of window projects. Waiting on some specs from American Legion. They're going to be doing a lighting upgrade in there, so that'll be coming up. And yesterday, Cade from Widseth stopped over. We were going to have a new inspector for those weatherization projects going forward, so he came over and introduced himself. And then other than that, I have the date for the Northern Valley Career and Technical Expo. That happens every October at the LRF Center. So we're going to start planning for that and hopefully do something new for it this year as well. Any questions?
No, thank you,
sir.
Jordan.
Thank you.
Corey?
Just an update on the enterprise software replacement. We are meeting with various employee groups right now to work on what our business processes actually are and then coming up with our functional requirements. We got probably about 40 to 50% through that process and hopefully have a draft RFP ready by September or so. Keep in mind, this is only the second time in 50 years that we've done this type of software replacement, so it's important we get it right and we define all our requirements. So it's been slower than expected, but it is moving forward now. Also working with Halstead on a couple potential dark fiber projects, dark fiber leases to them. And also working on some cybersecurity policy and incident response plans required for multiple areas of our operation. So, any questions?
You able to keep the equipment dry back here?
I thank Chris Kovar for coming in early in the morning on the first day we had the big leak there and building the makeshift tent that's in there.
Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith?
I guess we got about 20 minutes, don't we?
Sure.
Well, I only have a couple items. I thought I'd fill you in on the EV charging station. I know I tell you kind of how much it's been used. I looked at the report, and I've got in March, it was used 2 times. Revenue was $9.26. And then in April, it was used 2 times, and the total revenue was $13.42. So it's getting used, but not too much, but it's being used. It's a 60-40 split on that, so we get 60% and they get 40%.
Getting rich.
Yep.
Costs us more to
that's for
maintain.
sure. Huh?
Costs us more to maintain?
Yeah, you bet. And then the second item is renewable energy project update. We got some good news yesterday. Councilmember Riopel and I, they sent the purchase agreement to the city. And so now they have 180 days of what you call inspection period. So they'll go into it and analyze everything and make sure that they're okay with moving forward and officially signing on. And so there's 345 acres that they're proposing to purchase from the city. So that's great news. Other than that, this Friday I'll be off, and then Monday, Tuesday I'll be back at an MMP board meeting. So related to the renewable project, we'll let the process kind of play out. Once we know that it is officially a go, I would say maybe about the time you sign, the final process, then we'll probably bring it back. We'll bring it back to you, and I'd like to see you and maybe have Ron do a resolution to approve the project moving forward. And so we'll kind of play that by ear with the timing of that. So that's what I got to report.
Any questions for Mr. Keith?
Is there any way on the EV charging station that we can tell where the people are from? Are they local, or are they passing through, or?
Yeah, it shows you the names, but it doesn't show you.
It doesn't?
No. That'd be something interesting to know, sure.
It would be, because then, I don't know if we're getting out enough information to the public that we have it, or.
There's an app that.
I know there's an app, yeah, and they have probably.
Well, we could do a little bit more maybe on ours. We could promote it a little more in some of our Facebook. I know Brianna and Jordan, they put things on there from time to time. We could maybe think about that, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we can do that.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
Commissioner reports.
Talking about charging stations, have you seen that news blurb here in the past week where the federal government financed $7 billion for charging stations, and they built 8 of them? 8 of them. And they all blamed it on wokeness and DEI. all the rules and regulations and, you know, talk about spin your wheels. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And then yesterday, maybe you've seen them, I have not. I saw one of these Tesla pickups on 4th Avenue South yesterday. Yeah.
I've seen one before, but they really are weird looking.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, that's all I have.
Because I will not comment on that.
You're not going to build your fleet with those?
No. Motion to adjourn till July 3rd, 2024, please.
Move. Second.
Second.
Call roll.
Grindy,
Yes.
Bochamp,
Yes.
Quirk,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.